The small town of Sandy Springs, Georgia, is a place where Southern hospitality dresses itself in magnolia-scented smiles and sunlight-dappled porches. Its veneer of peace is momentarily marred by the shadows of a series of murders, brutally conducted and mysteriously centered around a local nightclub called the Luminous Abyss. Within this mosaic of everyday tranquility and creeping terror, we find Detective James J.D. Dalton, a man hardened by life's merciless hammer. Lines of persistent battles are etched on his face, the remnants of physical abuse whispering stories from his past. But the eyes, they hold a steadfast light, reflecting a spirit unyielded, brimming with courage and a hunger for justice. Dalton leaned over the latest crime scene. A lonely alleyway behind the Luminous Abyss pours over each grim detail. He gently brushes his gloved hands over the cold imprint of violence on the victim's lifeless body. An indecipherable symbol carved meticulously into the flesh, a haunting signature that links the murders together. A glance at the victim's face, twisted in eternal terror, resonates within him, a chilling echo of the man he was, of the pain he'd endured. And yet it feeds his resolve, his insatiable drive for financial stability and independence. A future where shadows from the past no longer linger in the corners of his existence. Following his solitary investigation, he steps into the loud, pulsating heart of the Luminous Abyss. The nightclub thrums with life, an orchestra of neon lights dancing in sync with the seductive bass rhythm. Faces smeared with sweat and anticipation, bodies lost in hedonistic rituals. They sway and sink, oblivious to the blood-soaked secret the nightclub nurtures. Through the undulating crowd, he finds himself face to face with Rosalie, the enigmatic bartender known for her uncanny knowledge of the club's patrons. He orders a drink, using the chance to probe her with his questions. "Seems like everyone here's got their demons, Rosie," he begins, his eyes unwavering. Rosalie, with her faraway gaze, nods. "That's the allure, detective. Everyone here is dancing with their shadows. This club..." She pauses, eyes darting to the shimmering symbol above the bar that matches the chilling imprint on the victims. It feeds on it. The statement hangs heavy between them, the undercurrents of an older, darker lore suddenly unfurling beneath the throb of club music. As he leaves the club that night, his mind buzzing with unspoken stories, cryptic symbols, and the macabre allure of the Luminous Abyss, he feels the onset of a haunting realization. He has journeyed beyond the familiar realm of human malice into the threshold of an abyss, a horrifying underbelly of the seemingly tranquil Sandy Springs. The veil of nightfall lays heavy on Sandy Springs. Against its inky tapestry, the Luminous Abyss pulses like a wicked heart, throbbing with ethereal neon lights, an alien cadence seeping into the quiet town's nightly symphony. Here, beneath the club's electrified persona, Dalton finds himself immersed in a realm where reality and nightmare commingle. The patrons move in a synchrony that transcends human coordination. Bodies twist and writhe under the nightclub's hypnotic strobe lights, creating a grotesque ballet that's eerily fascinating. It is a dance of shadows and secrets, a spectacle that simultaneously repulses and attracts him, reminding him of the cyclic battle with his own past, his personal dance with his demons. Each visit, each conversation within the confines of the club serves to unravel more of its uncanny mystique. He finds himself drawn to Rosalie, her cryptic knowledge of the abyss and her unusual insight into its lore. He returns to the bar, his reflection momentarily caught in the mirrored surface. A loyal, battle-scarred detective looking back. "Rosalie?" His voice threads through the bass-thumping air. "Talk to me about the Silent One." She meets his gaze, eyes haunted, burdened with tales that should never have been told. "The Silent One," she begins, her voice barely audible over the dissonant music, "is older than the oldest tale, as deep as the deepest ocean trench, and as silent as space itself. It lurks in the shadows, ever watchful, ever hungry." Dalton's intuition flares. His trained mind, adept at unearthing human deceit and criminal intentions, struggles to parse this narrative of a cosmic entity. But there's a disquieting undercurrent, a resonance that ties her words with the grisly murders he's investigating. His nights are now fractured by nightmares, cold sweats interrupting his sleep as the echoes of Rosalie's words meld with the eerie symbolism etched into the victim's skin. The Silent One, an ancient entity haunting his dreams, its shadows wrapping tighter around the heart of Sandy Springs. He stands on the precipice of this abyss, a brave figure inching closer to the mouth of an unimaginable terror. His reflections are shrouded in skepticism and dread, a chilling harmony to the whispers of Sandy Springs' nighttime. The once comforting embrace of his town now vibrates with the hum of a nameless horror, his world teetering on the edge of the rational, the quotidian mutating into the grotesque. Once a stoic sentinel against the common cruelties of human nature, he finds himself now on an odyssey into the realm of the unfathomable. Sandy Springs, his familiar haven, shrouded in a sinister enigma, continues its oblivious life around him. Dalton himself, however, is trapped in a nightmarish vortex, where every street echoes with the whispers of the Silent One. His dreams, once a sanctuary from the weariness of his reality, morph into distorted landscapes populated by grotesque caricatures of the murder victims. Each nightmare, punctuated by the eerie symbols found etched into their skin, reverberates with the silent screams of the Silent One, a primeval chorus permeating his subconscious. Despite the terror seeping into his sleep, he remains relentless, his pursuit fueled by the echoes of his trauma and the promise of monetary freedom. Each day, he delves deeper into the club's unnerving lore, weaving through the labyrinth of whispers and clues that lead him closer to the truth. In the heart of the Luminous Abyss, he finds his conversations with Rosalie growing in intensity, her once cryptic words now ringing with an unspoken urgency. "I've seen the marks, JD," she confesses in hushed tones, her eyes reflecting the club's swirling lights. On the victims and in the club. They're all tributes to the Silent One, its awakening, fed by the souls it reaps. Haunted by her revelation, he finds himself grappling with the implications. His once rational worldview is eroding, replaced by the looming dread of an ancient cosmic entity. His reality, once bound by the concrete truths of physical evidence and human motivations, starts to splinter under the weight of this horrifying possibility. In a race against the unfathomable, he pushes forth, the echoes of the Silent One growing louder, their resonating whispers slowly pulling the veil off the hidden terror of the town. Sandy Springs, the town he pledged to protect, has transformed into a stage for a cosmic horror older than time. His investigation, initially a pursuit for justice, now seems more akin to a foolhardy expedition into madness. In the pulsating belly of the Luminous Abyss, he begins to discern the club's chilling purpose. The strobe lights flash in morbid rhythm with the arcane symbols around the club, and the trance music reverberates with an otherworldly frequency. The hypnotic dance of the patrons, once a symbol of urban hedonism, now mirrors a ritualistic offering to an ancient entity, the Silent One. Rosalie, her eyes carrying a mix of fear and fatalistic acceptance, unveils the final piece of the horrific puzzle. "This club," she says, voice quivering, "is a shrine, JD, a modern monument to the Silent One. The murders, the symbols, they're all part of an awakening. We are feeding it, preparing for its return." His world shatters under the weight of this revelation. The vibrant nightclub, the heart of Sandy Springs' nightlife, is revealed as the maw of an ancient, insatiable beast. His nightmares, once merely disturbing echoes of his subconscious, are now clear premonitions of the unfolding cosmic catastrophe. The boundaries between past, present, and a future tainted by the shadow of the Silent One meld into a swirling vortex, threatening his sanity. The fear gnawing at his mind blooms into terror, yet his relentless pursuit of truth pushes him deeper into this twisted reality. His past, a testament of his resilience against physical abuse, now serves as a twisted roadmap, guiding him into this present maelstrom of cosmic horror. Yet he refuses to succumb to despair. With renewed resolve, he prepares for the climax of this horrifying saga, steeling himself for the final confrontation with the terrifying entity and its devotees. As the inky veil of the night slowly lifts over Sandy Springs, Dalton stands at the precipice of his terrifying journey. The once familiar streets now shimmer in an otherworldly gloom, echoing with the whispers of an imminent cosmic catastrophe. The dawn that awaits is not a harbinger of hope, but a chilling overture to the Silent One's awakening. Within the pulsating heart of the Luminous Abyss, the unholy ritual reaches a fever pitch. Neon lights illuminate the faces of the unwitting disciples lost in ecstatic dance, their movements forming a grotesque ballet, a living tribute to the ancient entity. His final confrontation with Rosalie holds a tremulous urgency. His voice, hardened by the unveiled horror, cuts through the pandemonium. "We must stop this, Rosie. This madness ends tonight." Rosalie's gaze, laced with despair and the weight of untold centuries, softens. There's no stopping it. JD, the Silent One, has always been here, waiting, whispering. We're but pawns in its game. But Dalton, undeterred by the enormity of their cosmic adversary, is resolute. "We have a choice, Rosie. We always have a choice." The climax of their horrifying ordeal unravels in a slow dance of dread and defiance. Armed with nothing but his unyielding spirit, he disrupts the ritual, his actions a challenge against the monstrous force that threatens to consume Sandy Springs. The Silent One responds. The club shudders under the weight of its wrath. The music crescendos into a cacophony, the symbols adorning the club pulsating with an ominous light. The Silent One's influence bleeds into reality, tainting the dawn with a sickly hue. Yet Dalton, the man shaped by trauma and driven by the promise of a future unburdened by his past, faces the cosmic entity. The confrontation, devoid of physicality, is a battle of wills, an echo of his past struggles against the tangible forms of human malice. As dawn breaks, the nightclub's pulse weakens. Though mentally battered and physically exhausted, Dalton emerges victorious. The Luminous Abyss, the silent witness of their horrific journey, finally succumbs to silence. In the face of cosmic terror, he stood resolute. His steadfastness didn't just preserve the tranquility of his town, but also his own spirit. Despite the trauma of his past and the terror of his present, his bravery transcends human limitations. Sandy Springs returns to its rhythm, the town's secrets buried deep within the remnants of the Luminous Abyss. Dalton, forever changed by his encounter with the Silent One, walks into a new day. His world is irrevocably marred by the knowledge of the cosmic horror, his reality forever tainted by the echo of the Silent One's whisper. Yet he persists, the battle-hardened detective soldiering on, his spirit unyielding against the shadow of his horrifying dawn. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe to our channel, where you can find more similar stories, and click on the bell icon to never miss one. There is plenty more cosmic horror to come from the Eldritch Tales Factory. Stay tuned, and until next time.